Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Sunday Talking Town, the flagship podcast from yours truly, and of course, Hard Truth. And we start this afternoon, Sean, on a really sad footing, really. I'm late starting the show because I was preparing a cheese bake, which hopefully the second one should arrive through the course of the show, but I dropped it as I got it out of the oven. So chorizo cheese bake all on the floor, all on my sleeve. So it's a really sad afternoon in the Lambert household. How are you feeling this afternoon, Sunday, following a town victory, 3 on the bounce, another clean sheet, a 1-0 win away at MK Dons? Could it have been more? Should it have been more? Let me know how you're feeling. The chat is really lively, which I'd love to see. Well, of course, we'll drop a link at some point. Gino kicks us off with, what a difference a couple of wins, mate. Got my ticket for Bolton away. If we win the next 2 and Plymouth continue to have their blip, the Bolton game is going to be worth being at. Last time we played Bolton at the Reebok in a big game, Town didn't show up. So hopefully, if that's the case, we do better than we did 20 odd years ago. Jim, after listening to KM and Ashton the other day, I have no doubt that these are absolutely the right guys for our club. Interesting comment. We'll come on to that through the course of the show. I think we've got various different opinions this afternoon on this interview. I'll let you know where I stand nice and early. Not for me. Colin Plum, good afternoon. I hope you enjoyed your trip to MK yesterday. Lots of you piling in. Do let us know how you're feeling about your football club this afternoon. And as I say, a link will be dropped. John B is interested to hear Matt Phillips' take on the Ashton and McKenna interview. There you go. You see, lots of people interested to know. Gov, not the it'll all be the Reeboks to me, but yeah, the tough shit stadium. Hopefully, it won't be tough shit town when we travel there. Right, let's get it on. Somebody get the tables. Hard Truth are here, delivering the truth that nobody wants to hear. The Cruncher and the Media Mogul. Good afternoon, gentlemen, and are we well?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good.
How are we?
All good.
Wonderful.
Good morning. All good.
Yeah, so it's the morning after the night before.
Matt's been with the geeks this morning.
Matt's been. Yeah, where have you been this morning, Matt? Tell the people at home.
We've gone. Those of you know Chelmsford, there's a little place just outside Southwood and Ferrers, a place called Battles Bridge. So they've got like an antiquities centre over there with like loads of little outlets. And part of those is Nerd Base, which my son insists on going to. So if you're into old 80s figures from Star Wars and all that kind of thing, Pokemon is what we were there for. But yeah, it's very cold because it's nautical over there. It's nautical. So
What did you send us though? What did you send me?
Well, they had a little WWF section or WWE section, didn't they?
Oh.
So I sent you the video.
Bret Hart for me, Matt. I'd love the Bret Hart figure.
That was a bit lumpy, I think. They got loads of them. Have you ever seen them pop figures in those white boxes? The places adorned with them, do you know, all them kind of things. So yeah, it was all good. Mrs. went into and got some retro vintage clothing. I had a nice ham sandwich in the One Green Bottle Bar. Shout out to them, very nice.
Very nice. All right, that's your Sunday morning. How was yours spent this morning, Rich? Need a
haircut, little chuckle because one of Matt's tips for the town job got the boot, isn't he? Carl Robinson. Out you go, Carl.
Has he been sacked?
Sacked.
Yeah, no compensation needed. This is great news.
He is gone.
It's still having.
Well, look, he's done what? He's done 5 years there.
He's done a good job.
What's the average? He got them to a playoff final and the playoffs. And what's the average for a manager? About 11 months. I think he's done. He's probably outstayed his welcome there, most likely.
Yeah. Got a bit stout there, isn't it? Harp says better play Barnsley down in bottom period with momentum. 9.99 from 80. The legend that is 80 Crouch. I've been with 80 this morning. Great guy. Hope this covers another cheese bake. Thank you very much, 80.
The dog didn't eat the cheese toasty.
Wasn't a cheese toasty. It was one of those lovely little cheese bakes you get in Tesco's. Treats mozzarella, cheddar. Put them in the oven for 20 minutes.
It's like a pizza, is it?
No. I'll show when it arrives. I'll show you. I'll send you a picture. It's lovely, but I dropped it as it got out of the oven.
Right, I met a guy yesterday, right, at MK. Let me find the message. A guy called Ian. Shout out Ian Gainford. Sat in front of me. Watches all our content. He's coming to the book launch, by the way, Matt. Bought tickets.
Yeah.
He sent me a tweet. Good to meet you today at the match. Cruncher, the one who talks a lot of sense. Gov is the voice of reason and balance. And Matt, the voice of negativity. Come on, you Blues, and keep up the good work on Talking Town. So, top work, Ian.
Yeah. Shout out, Ian. We'll meet you at the book launch. Yeah, look forward to that.
Yeah, I like you, Ian. Sounds like a good guy. The voice of reason. Like that. Like that a lot.
You are
Told
on
you,
Insta,
see.
you're not on WhatsApp.
He's brave on WhatsApp, isn't he, Matt?
I've got to be the voice of reason and balance, you see. That's why
We
I'm
should
here.
do a
to
show of
keep-
Martin's WhatsApp messages, couldn't we, Rich?
Oh, and voice notes.
A voice note.
The day I die is the day that you can release all of those, all right? I'll let you go with them.
Good
Hart
content,
says literally 5 minutes. Matt says take your son to the geek retreat in Ipswich.
Well, we've got one of those in Chelmsford, actually.
Guillotine is definitely balanced. I just like to sit with Stephen Parry on the Stephen Parry bench of the Stephen Parry fence, shall we call it?
Of optimism.
No, just
Steve Parry actually had people around and he's got rid of them.
He's got rid of them. Yeah, I'd like to hear more about this.
Sorry, so what's this? What have I missed?
Steve said he wasn't going to make the show.
Round. They were cramping his style.
So he's good.
Did he kick him out for
Yeah,
talking
well,
down?
yeah,
Like,
I think he had to shout out for a taxi. I think he had to shout out for a taxi for him. Come on. Time to go. TT's on. It's 1:30 Sunday. Get on with
Surely
it.
cabs.
this is the place to be. No, there's no banter with Luco because Luco is not the best player at the football club.
Will we
Mr.
see a
Plum. You
Luco
are
in a tan
incorrect.
shirt again? What do you reckon?
I hope not. I do. I don't see what he brings to the team. Particularly now you've got Massimo Luongo who comes on and keeps the ball just as well as
We can talk about him later.
Sonny Aluko. But let's talk about the game tomorrow. Yesterday, 1-0 win. We were lucky to go in at half-time 1-0 because we should have been 1-1 at the very least, if not 1-0 down, with Christian Walton and Jonathan Lecco between the pair of them combining to keep Town level.
That's my three-word takeaway. Pinball Wizards.
I mean, Jonathan Lecco, just put your boot through it, son. And
How can he? Have you seen the still? The still. How can he miss? He's literally standing next to the goalpost.
he should try placing it from 3 yards. But really, you just want to put Wolfenden and the ball into the back of the net, John. But
Bodies back. We played to them. We had bodies back. They played to those lads. It was Wolfenden, wasn't he, who blocked it on the line, I think.
He did, yeah. Burgess, for me, was not great yesterday, but we'll get into it. How did you see the game then? Rich, you were there, so you can kick us off.
I thought Burgess had a good game.
Not for me. I mean, there's one instance in the first half. I WhatsApp Matt and I said, how is he a pro player? Literally air kicked it. I thought, what the flip is going on here?
Where were you sat yesterday, Rich? Were you close to where we were last season on that corner?
Yeah, we're a little bit higher up, a few rows up. Surrounded some very nice people, some very lots of inflatables, which Callie will probably, when he comes on, will discuss because he didn't like them. But each to their own. Yeah, look, got there, didn't we? Heard a lot about the pitch pre-match. It looked good. It looked good from afar. It was terrible. The pitch wasn't very good. You know, don't get. If you see a picture of the pitch and you think, oh yeah, that looks nice. Nah, it was shit. And first half, it was one of them games, Martin, that we've seen so many times this season. You know, we huff and puff, and sometimes we do a few good things, and then you do things and think, blimey, what are they doing that for? Look, should have been 1-0 down. We all know that. How he's missed it. Look, shout out Christian Walton. He's done 2 fantastic saves there because he's done one. He's had to get up and he's done another. Got us out of the mire. And then Sam Morsey steps forward, nicks the ball, goes forward. And it's a tremendous finish, isn't it? I've seen it from behind the goal this morning, the view on the Town Twitter feed. It's a great finish. It's a great finish.
Yeah.
And then second half, we could have scored about 3 goals in, I think, the first 5 minutes. Look, I thought we were dominating second half, but there's always that little thing at the back of your mind when it goes into the last 10 minutes, and we've seen it so many times before, and you think, fucking, here we go again, you know. Then it goes up 4 minutes on the board. We give a couple of free kicks away. You're probably glad that Scott Twine's still not playing there, Matt, because they were probably ideal position for him.
Yeah, true.
And
true.
I thought it was a professional performance. It should have been more than 1-0. I know, like, they could have gone ahead. Look, we've got the job done. We've won on the road, first time since, November? Back to back, first time since October. But then you look at Sheffield Wednesday. They set a club record yesterday, 20 games unbeaten, a club record 19 clean sheets, Matt. And that is why they are going to win the league, and we are still up against it. I know we're 5 points, and we've cut that from 10 in 2 games, which is brilliant. And if you look at the next 3 games of Plymouth, they've got Charlton at home, Derby at home, Barnsley away. Barnsley, a team on fire at the minute. They've got 2 games and can go above Town, but we just need to keep our feet on the floor. We've achieved nothing You know, we've won a game and we haven't been at our best, which is good. We've got 2 winnable games coming up now against Burton, Accrington and Stanley. Should be 6 points. You never know. The thing for me is going to be the 3 away games. Bolton, Barnsley, Derby. I think we've got to probably take 7 points out of them. If we're going to get in the top 2, it's still possible. It's still possible. But we're making hard work of it. We shouldn't really be where we are. And then if you'd like you say, Martin, going on the Kieran McKenna interview, saying that we're in a good position when we should have been in a whole better position than where we are now.
There you go.
That's the truth. That's the truth. That is, if it's a normal season and you're like 4th or 5th at Christmas, sitting 3rd, 5 points behind the top 2, where we are now, you'd be thinking, brilliant. We can go in to this last 13 games with the momentum behind us, and we can push on to get top 2. We should have been already in the top 2. We all know that. We all know that. The club are not going to say it. They probably think that themselves, but they're not going to come out and say, we've made a bit of a pig's ear of.
I'd have liked a bit of honesty. A bit more. I'd like that. We're 3rd. Everyone would take 3rd, but we should. We know. We should.
We can't. Phil Blundell. We can't keep blaming referees. It's our own fault. It's not referees' fault that we are where we are.
What, the 0-0 draw was the row? Was the referee's fault? Was it?
The 1-1 draw against Fleetwood where Burgess doesn't close him down and blocks it. The 1-1 against Plymouth where Burgess deflects. Look, there's so many games. Yeah. And there's another point. Just going off that interview when Kieran says about like learning from things and the Sheffield Wednesday and Charlton games, and he says they in I can't remember what his exact words are, Matt, that they're good points. I tell you what, they will never, ever be good points from, especially the Charlton one, when you're fucking 2 goals up in injuries. That will never be a good point in my book, and probably 99% of Town fans. That cannot be right, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Agreed.
Matt, over to you. What your thoughts on the game yesterday, first and foremost?
Yeah, I mean, look, everyone keeps saying I'm negative. I thought it was a really good performance yesterday. But, I am frustrated still because here we are going, our first away win since mid-November against Exeter. 2 wins on the bounce now. First time since October. These stats are just not good enough for us. But I do, that just suggests missed opportunities to me. Which is the reason why I've been so down about it in these last few weeks. But in isolation yesterday, really good performance. Probably helped a little bit. Milton Keynes, I think, wanted to kind of attack us. Played a little bit more open than what we saw at Bristol Rovers. I felt there was a good energy about the side and a good attacking energy about the side. And as you said, Martin, Moulsey in midfield, runs in, nips the ball off that guy's toes, shoots from distance, 1-0. He hasn't done that for ages, has he? When was the last time he'd done that? It was his first goal since Charlton. You said to me, "Where's this guy been for the last 4 months or so?"
Yeah. Was it a daisy cutter? He does a good daisy cutter normally, does more. See, that wasn't a daisy cutter. That was actually Welsh. He didn't fancy it though, did he? When he nipped in, you could see he wanted to release it to somebody. And the more he wanted to release it and no one was available, the closer he got to the goal. And he just thought, right, fuck this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Didn't fancy it though, did he? Like, he didn't have that instinct natural where you think.
No.
He's got one thing in his mind.
Didn't he? He went forward and smashed it in the corner. It didn't look like
for me, you watch him back, he's looking to release that ball. He don't want to strike it initially.
But then it opens up for him and no one really closed him down. So
it's a great goal. I'm not taking it away from him. It's a great goal. It's a really good goal. And we needed at the time we needed it as well.
Yes. It was like you said, because we could have been, we should have been 1-0 down. But that's the kind of performance you want in it. If you've got promotion aspirations to go to a team in the bottom 4, where most of their fans are dressed as seats, as you said, Mike.
Fans 14,000 there, Matt, yesterday.
I think it was 14,000.
They said, didn't they? But I don't know.
There was loads of empty seats everywhere.
It was a good professional performance, really, and I'd take my hat off to everybody. I thought Leif Davis was really good yesterday. Certainly in that second half, getting forward. Thought he played really well. I thought George Hurst was good in his hold-up play. He seems to be growing a little bit more now in terms of now he's getting minutes under his belt. Got to feel bad for Ladapo, haven't you? 11 goals this season. He's been relegated to the bench for Hurst, but Hurst played well. Burns, not so sure about yesterday. But yeah, Walton kept us in it with those 2 saves. So a really good performance. Something that those 7,000 Ipswich fans...
If McKenna had been listening to this pod the last few weeks, Walton wouldn't have been playing because you wanted him dropped. Morsey wouldn't have been playing because the Fisherman wanted him dropped. So this is what we need to do. We need to just keep a little bit of realism here, guys, and keep... If we don't win, and if we do win, we should just be level. We don't. We lose our edge too often. We do, Matt and Martin.
Let me slide it. Let me just slide in.
Not level enough.
Sam
We're
Morsey.
We're up here or we're down there.
Best football fans. I mean, this morning I was talking to Brady Croucher, and he was telling me, and I don't think he'll mind me saying, he agreed with Matt last week, but this week everything changes, and you're like, I don't know. Actually, is it back on? Is it doable? That's the life of a football fan. Up here when you win, down here when you lose. It ain't our job to be sensible or be grounded. That's McKenna, Ashton's, and Co's job.
Yeah, fans can be grounded. They can if they're sensible. You don't have to lose your heads and want the manager sack because you've had a dodgy run.
The whole point, though, is you bundle into a week on a win or you fall into one after a defeat. That's the job as a football fan, to be up there. Like Newcastle today, if they win the cup, they'll be on the fucking ceiling. If they don't, they'll be down there thinking, when's it going to be our time? Is it going to be our time? Can we break into that top four?
But they'll look at Newcastle fans, will look at where they've come from. They won't think, it's
a final. They in a final for the first time in God knows how many.
It won't be a disaster for them because they'll look at the bigger picture, is what we should do. Look at the bigger picture.
Okay, the big picture is this. Sam Morsey's been rubbish up until yesterday. That was his best performance in about a month.
He hasn't been rubbish. He's maybe not at the standard that he's set himself. I wouldn't say he's been rubbish.
Rubbish is a bit
disrespectful to say that he's been rubbish.
It's a harsh word. It was a harsh word, but it was a word used to say his performances haven't been the usual.
Then you think he's had different partners. Lee Evans got injured. He's had to change his
game a
little bit for Humphreys.
But they're excuses.
No, they're not. They're the facts.
Rubbish is harsh. It's an incorrect term to use. I will agree with you there. But, it's a term used more in he hasn't been the Sam Morsey he was 3 months ago.
You'd expect standout performances. We are, in terms of keeping grounded, right? We did say this run of games is where we could actually put a run together. We are playing relegation-threatened teams in the bottom four. Then we've got Burton next week, just outside the bottom four. And then we've got Accrington, who are in the bottom four. I mean, this is what we should be doing. These are we're all getting carried away over results that other teams are quite easily chalking up themselves because we've not done it since October. I mean, to not have an away win since November is ridiculous to me, which then brings us back to the McKenna and Ashton.
Morsey, phenomenal yesterday. Phenomenal. Morsey yesterday, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, but again, you're playing bottom four team. I mean, how gutted would you be as an MK Dons fan? Almost promoted last season. Going to get relegated.
Because you moan when we don't beat teams like Fleetwood. Yet then we beat someone. You say, well, they're bottom four anyway. They all have to turn up. We all have to turn up every week and put in the level of performance and get the victory. It ain't a given. Just because we're in League One and we think we're big shots. It ain't a given.
But come on. Sheffield Wednesday. You just said 20
games. The thing is, at the minute, and if we get to the end of the season and we don't make the top two, it's going to be the draws that are. It's not defeats because we've only lost 4 games all season.
It seems to me it's pretty much a given that if Sheffield are 20 games undefeated or whatever it is, that they're turning up and just rocking up 3 points here, 3 points there. Do you know we were 2 points ahead of them on Boxing Day? If they win their game in hand on us, it'd be something like, I don't know, 10, 11 points ahead of us, something like that. And we had, on Boxing Day, we had Barnsley 11, 12, 13 points behind us. They'll go ahead of us if they win their 2 games in hand.
Still got some hard games to play there. They've got to play all the top 6, so it might not pan out like that.
Yeah, we'll see. I just think, Fleetwood at home. If you're going to go up 3 points, Fleetwood away, you're going to go up 3 points.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
But we've made Ipswich make life tough for themselves.
They do. Too tough for themselves on too many occasions. But yes, I thought yesterday was all right in the end. Comfortable in the second half.
Really good.
Could have switched. We didn't, but we could have switched off as fans. It was a comfortable.
Never comfortable 1-0 though. It's never comfortable.
We did say right. They could score it.
I did feel comfortable. I did. Honestly,
I didn't sit there thinking, "Oh shit, they're piling on the pressure here."
They didn't have much in the tank, did it? They didn't have much in the tank, MK Dons, did they? Like you say, they've lost that Harry Darling, they've lost Twine. That Lecco is quite a good player, I think. He's playing in the Premier League.
He was a good player.
But
they had the spine ripped out, haven't they? That's the issue there.
They should have gone up last season. I feel sorry for them. Really.
But it's goals that change games, mate. If they go 1-0 up in that game yesterday when they probably should have done, it's a totally different game because everyone gets a bit more nervous then. And then we get 1-0 up, and goals change games. And yesterday we should have looked. If you're looking at Lecco's miss, Broadhead wasn't great, was it? Martin should have buried that one where it come back off the keeper.
Too quick, didn't it? Yeah,
it's come to him quick. Should probably score, but Look, we created a lot of chances second half, and we probably should have been a bit more clinical. If we're being honest,
Broadhead should have scored for starters.
Yeah, that should have gone in.
I don't know how he's not even at the target. Like if it's the bar, I could feel a little bit better for him, but he's completely fluffed it. How has he missed that? I mean, he had a good performance. He was again quiet in periods, quiet in patches. He is what he is at that point. But how did you see his performance yesterday, Matt? Because obviously, big money sign him.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his. Yeah, I thought he played all right. He should have scored. I mean, and like you say, Rich, he did come to him pretty quick. But he doesn't need us three to tell him he shouldn't be scoring from there. You know, I just felt like it was a good team performance yesterday with a lot of kind of standout solo performances, like Walton made those saves. Morsey with that really good goal. Leif Davis really good attacking threat down the left side. Hurst having a bit of a presence up top. That's what you expect, though, isn't it? Because we spent the money. We spent the money on these players, and you know that's what you expect against teams that look like they're probably going to be relegated or be, you know, bottom 4, bottom 5, bottom 6. Hopefully, we can do the same against Burton next week. But we said, didn't we? This is the run of games, starting with Bristol Rovers, which wasn't great. This was the run of games where we could actually make up some ground because you are playing these teams down at the bottom, and then you go into some momentum for the Bolton game, I guess.
Because if you look at Plymouth, look, the run we've been on, we are playing catch up, and maybe that's taken a little bit of pressure off them. I don't know. If we win the next 2 games, then the pressure intensifies a little bit. But Plymouth have got it all to lose, Matt. The position they were in, they were 10 points clear 2 games back. It's after 5. If they have another defeat and then it goes to 2, you know, it's squeaky bum time for them. And the real pressure is going to come on. Look at how they faded away last season. I'm not saying they're going to do it this season, but
they faded quite. Actually, the myth is that they faded, right? They actually faded by October. Because I looked at the same.
Pressure in November is totally different to me to a March or April when you've got it all to lose. Then you really have. They're in a cup final, which is great for them. Going to Wembley day out, they'll probably take 40,000 there, but that'll be another game on a Saturday when they don't play. I don't know who we play when they play that game. If we can get another 3 points on them, I know I'd rather have the points on the board than games in hand. But you look at Shrewsbury. Look at the run they're on. You know, they're proving, Matt, that we haven't done that. I think they've won 7 out of about 9. We've won.
Goes back to my argument all the time, doesn't it? Why haven't we done that? Unfortunately, Matt Holland didn't.
I'm not saying Plymouth are fading. You need to actually listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying the pressure is going to be on them.
Yeah, there's going to be some pressure.
More. When it comes to April, they're going to have these big games, and hopefully by then we're a little bit closer to them. You know,
we talk about
who can handle the pressure coming into that last run.
That was a crazy result they had yesterday. We were watching that carefully, weren't we, Martin? Like 5-2, bloody hell. I mean, I watched his interview, Schumacher, and he made 2 subs on the half-hour mark to try and get themselves back in it. But he said, we let our standards go. That's not the first time they've lost by 5 this season. They got done 5-1 by Charlton earlier in the season.
Don't mention Charlton.
They've got next week, isn't it, at home?
Don't mention Charlton. People get
Charlton. It's always Charlton.
Always Charlton.
Bill Blundell doesn't understand what I'm saying. You must be thick, Phil, when you're saying
easy, fellas.
No, listen. Get him on the link, because if he's going to give me shit in there, come on and give it shit to my face, because we all know, Phil, you were the guy the other week who sent Martin a message when me and Matt were doing the show, calling us. No, I'm going to call him out. I'm going to call him out, calling us jokers. Now, it's easy sitting in the chat behind your keyboard, Phil, like a little keyboard warrior tapping away. So hit the link. Come on, and we can have a discussion.
He will do. He will do. He was on the post-game show yesterday.
I'm actually not saying that Plymouth are going to fade away. I'm saying, for the less intelligent out there, there's some big games coming up in March and April when the pressure is intensifying. I'll say it slowly to you, Phil, so you might understand me.
I understand. It's the pressure of live broadcast. You know, I said a word earlier. I meant the standard, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, the point is habits. We talk about habits, right? At this football club particularly, you know, we've got bad habits. You get into bad habits, blah blah blah. I don't know much about Plymouth. Maybe you two can tell me, because you're more of a League One connoisseurs. But could it be a bit of bad habits creeping in? Could it be a bit of phobia from last year, where the spine of the team is still there and the manager is still there, and as the business end approaches, that's in the back of their minds that they fell away last year, and then the more you think about something as an athlete, they always say the more you fall into that trap. So if you think about losing, you're already walking out.
They've lost the goalkeeper for starters, haven't they, Matt?
Yeah. they'd already fallen away while Ryan Lowe was the manager, because I don't think Schumacher come in until like November, December time, similar to what McKenna did. I just think they probably had a bad day at the office, to be honest with you. I think, they've been like, who knows? They could. If they do start choking, then fair enough. But we don't know that. We can't predict that's going to happen. It's just guesswork at the moment. But they're solid at home, aren't they? They're really solid at home.
Your mind does funny things to you. Like Callie says, It's if that's in their mind, if that's in
what I
their
was
mind,
asking there.
It's psychological. I see yesterday, someone actually tweeted me this morning, the yellow shoes guy was back yesterday.
Was he?
Yes.
I feel responsible for that, guys. I'm talking town. We're the only people that really picked up that can and we're banging that drum and saying, "Where is he gone?" Before we go on to bringing other people into it and discussing the game further, let's spend a little bit of time on the interview. How do we feel about it? I watched it half 12 Friday night on 2x speed. I probably.
Well, you turned it off after 5 minutes. He said, "I'm not."
Beautiful. Thank you very much. My cheese has arrived, ladies and gentlemen.
Can I give a shout out to Massimo Luongo? I've given him a bit of stick on it.
You can if you like. Why don't my cheese?
He's been injured. I thought he was outstanding when he came on second half yesterday. He showed why. He showed why we've signed him. He knows where to be. He knows how to fill them gaps. I thought it was a good look. We sometimes say about Kieran and his substitutions. I think he got that spot on, Matt, because Cameron Humphries has got a yellow just before half time. So he's going to be walking that tightrope the second half. Yeah. So he's obviously made that change. He nearly scored, didn't he? After about a minute, had a great shot just over the bar. But I thought he showed real quality, shows that he knows this division. He knows what it's all about. And I think, fingers crossed, he can stay fit coming into the running.
Yeah, well,
because I think he's going to have a big part to play in there, because he's played in these big games before. I don't want to discount Humphries, because I think he's an absolutely fantastic player and he's a real asset to the football club.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought he struggled a little bit to get in the game yesterday, Martin, a little bit in the first half. Yeah. But he's a kid and he's still learning, and it'll benefit him going forward. All these games he's playing in, he's still got a big part to play into the running for me. But I think Luongo, with that experience,
he'll be in next season, I think, Luongo.
No.
I don't know.
If he's in League One, I think. I mean, he's got his contract to prove his fitness, right? If he's in
Here's a question for you. As I asked on the post-game show yesterday, can you start with Massimo and Morsey, or is that too much handbrake on?
No, I think you can start them.
Because for me, you're judging Massimo on a different type of performance, Matt. He's coming on in a game you're winning this week and last week. He's tasked with a couple of things: using his experience, using his know-how, but keeping the ball, keeping it simple, two-touch. A little bit like Sonny Aluko does. Just keep the ball. And it's very easy to keep the ball when you do two-touch, short passing. It looks great. It does the job. But is that two handbrake on next week, 0-0, from minute one against Burton, where you're kind of having to play a different way because you're having to get onto the front foot to then keep the ball?
Yeah, it didn't particularly look like handbrake yesterday, did it? And where we've actually sat back a little bit on 1-0s before and let people come back into let sides get back into the game. Like you say, Rich, he had that shot which flashed over into the Ipswich crowd, didn't he?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think he can do with his experience. I think he could probably do a multitude of things. I think he can play a little bit further forward if you want him, or he can go back into the enforcer role and let Morsey do the hard yards around the box. So I think he gives you both, but we've not seen it from the start, which is why that's probably why there is a bit of a question mark. But when he's done these cameos, as we've seen, he's done all right, albeit against not great opposition. But he was all right against Burnley when he came on as well, wasn't he? Put that crunching tackle in.
I think the next step's probably for him to start, and I probably think with Saturday, Tuesday next week, I think he'll start one of them games, Matt.
Maybe
it might be Saturday. It might be the game against Akron on the midweek, but.
Yeah. Feels like he's knocking the door.
But it's all about fitness for me with him. It's all about fitness.
Yeah.
Can we keep him fit between now and the end of the season? If he can play a big part, and it's what we want. We want everybody fit. We need all of them golf clubs, Matt, in that bag.
Absolutely. I would have liked to have seen him in a situation where he's coming into a game where you're not winning.
Yeah.
Just to see how that plays, because it's a very different game. You know it is, Rich. You haven't played the game yourself.
Yeah, definitely. But I agree with Emerson there. I agree with Emerson that they give this Morsey and Luongo give the stability for the attacking players to play. It depends who you're playing sometimes. Sometimes you might. A Burton at home. Are Burton really going to come on the front foot?
They shouldn't do.
No.
No.
So this is where I agree with you. Humphreys, he's that more forward-thinking player. And I think every time I see Cameron, Matt, he always looks to play forward. That's what impresses me with him. He always looking for them little gaps, them little passes. Whereas sometimes with other players, they play a little bit safe. They play a little bit sideways.
Which is what he does when he comes on, which is fine when you're winning 1-0. It's lovely. You want that. And there was an instance down the left corner towards the end of the game where it was just keep the ball. And it was that's very easy. And Massimo sort of had one thing on his mind. Get to the corner, play a couple of 1-2s. That's great. That's easy. That's lovely when you're winning 1-0. But when you're losing or you're drawing 0 and you're trying to go
keeping balls in corners. When we had that corner and
aren't we, Joe?
I mean, what are you doing? There you go.
Not as bad as Callum Connolly at home on Wednesday, though, is it? Not as bad as where Nuhue gets the goal.
I remember. Was that the was that the game where McGoldrick got flooded in the nuts?
Yes,
that was who was that tackling in that game?
I used to like that guy who what was it? Was he like? It was like Coochie, wasn't he?
Nuhue. He was massive.
Massive.
Unit, wasn't he? He always come off the bench normally, didn't he?
He plays in Austria now, I think. Yeah, I liked him.
So.
Unit.
McKenna, Ashton, give me your thoughts on that. It's the journey is what stood out to me.
Martin started on the journey. Listen, I'm in two minds on this. Like, if I was just a casual fan and I went with my family and I'm watching that and I don't do a podcast, I'm thinking, it's pretty good. It's all right. It's two people with no pressure. They look like two people with absolutely no pressure on their shoulders whatsoever. But you watch because they're good friends. But you watch it from our angle. We're podcasters and, we're the club's in our DNA and we're thinking about it all the time, 24/7 and the shows and all that kind of thing. I don't know. I mean, it was just a little bit. Matt Holland looked very lean. Shout out, Matt. He's obviously keeping himself trim, doing well. But it seemed very safe to me. Like there was we're in a good place. But there's no mention of the fact we were top 2 and we've, 5 wins in 15 or whatever it was, 6 in 16 or whatever it was. The terrible form away from home since November. There was none of this. What surprised me was Ashton didn't even say a word till the 20-minute mark. Couldn't believe that.
Nice, wasn't it?
I think Kieran actually come over quite well, actually. But I just some contradictions in there for me in terms of like where Ashton says, it's all about building this stability. But he's obviously judging McKenna by a different yardstick than what he did to Cook. Probably as you said, Rich, because that was his appointment. But Cook only got from the season starting August to November, and McKenna's form has been on par with that since November and the Charlton game. But he's obviously a long term. Right, I've been sat here going, I don't think really he's cutting the mustard. He's probably too much of a rookie. Who's going to help us get over the line? I don't think they're bothered about it if they don't this season. That's the impression I got. I think we've not been told. I think internally there's probably a timeline on this, and I think this year is the first year of that. Because them two weren't sat. The two sat there like they was top of the table to me, not dropped out of the top 2 and 3rd. And you got Barnsley.
Are they going to sit there like they're man under pressure?
Well, why? Well, exactly. I mean, that then leads me to my next question. I mean, it's typical Ashton time in this. We've just beaten Forest Green 4-0, shit club, and then you're playing another relegation threatened team again, and sandwiched in the middle. It's how great we're doing.
It's a good time to bring it out when knowing the games we've got coming up when you've got Burton, Accrington as well, Matt, and you're thinking that you probably should win 4 on the trot there.
Listen, I have nothing against McKenna. I actually like him as Ipswich Town manager, but I think he'd be a good manager for us if he'd already come from a club where he's put 2-3 seasons under his belt. Then he comes into town. Because I still don't see us as this learning project. But behind the scenes, and again, I can blame the media for this. Because even though they're actually giving us the timeline on this, we've had to make assumptions. We've given you a shitload of money and you've gone down the table. And we're thinking, my God, are we supposed to be going up this season or not? I think it's a longer term project to them. He called it a project and he called it a journey. But if you're flashing the cash in League One, because he said, we're the only team that will be paying these transfer fees, that suggests to me you want to get top 2 ASAP. And I'm sure the guys in Arizona want that as well. But to me, them two sitting there in the country house mansion and wherever they were, didn't seem to have any pressure on their shoulders whatsoever. So I'd like that to be clarified. Is promotion the aim this season? Is top 2 the aim this season? Because you don't look it to me.
They'll always say it is.
Find that out. They're never going to say that, are they?
If they come out and said, you know what, this year's
No one
not
asked them.
it isn't about promotion. We've got a plan. I'd be worried. Like, no, I want promotion instantly. We want to be in the top 2. We want to be thereabouts. And to say anything else would show a lack of, for me, a little bit of ambition. Particularly when you're spreading
that interview looks like what Vincent Kompany and the Burnley ownership should be doing. Their CEO should be doing with a big fat cigar and a brandy.
They don't have to do that because they're sitting top of the table. Now, if they're sitting top of the table, you wouldn't need them sat in country manner, would you?
That's how they come across to me, though. They didn't look like they had any pressure on them.
Ashton, obviously, in the States next week. We learned from the video.
He's flying today, isn't he?
I'd like to be a fly on the wall next week.
What I did love about the chat was when he said Burkay is always phoning me up and the support they're giving from the States and like, do you need any more players in? I mean, we've landed on our feet with Brett and Burkay.
John Jack Taylor.
Yeah, I bet it was.
So where's my Jack Taylor?
Ben Bob says, is Ashton Talking Town interview part 2 coming this year?
Unlikely, I would say.
I wouldn't put money on it.
Yeah, they are superb owners. They've got the pension fund at their fingertips to help support us. I just don't feel like that we've been paying them back. Certainly not since November to yesterday, in my view.
Rich, your thoughts on it? My thoughts very quickly.
What do you call me? The ostrich. You said I'm an ostrich.
Oh, the ostrich. Yeah, you and a number of other fans like ostriches. Stick your head in the fucking sand. Everything's happy.
Look, I thought it was a typical PR interview with.
Oh yes.
The questions, they knew what was being asked. I thought he come across really well. You know, that they spoke well. I could listen to McKenna. I could listen to McKenna all day talk about football. I think he's really intelligent.
I think he's brilliant.
Was there anything there really new that we learned? Probably not. You know, it was your standard answers, and they're not going to get pressed too much when you've got a club legend.
I don't know why Matt Holland has to do it.
Well, I don't know. I liked it when they talked about the foundation, which they've obviously brought back. It's not.
But
it's obviously what goes on the pitch on a Saturday, but there's other stuff going on around the club. You know, I think they do some great work in the community.
Really good.
If you look at Connor Chaplin, I think he's like the face of that, and they appointed him on the foundation, and I think that they enjoy doing it. The players, don't they? It's not as though, we've got to go to this school today. I think they really enjoy it, and I think that's part of when they come to the club. They have to buy into that. They have to, you know. And I think that's really important. I know we all on a Saturday and a Tuesday and whatever. That is where we judge what goes on, but we have to look. I look at the bigger picture, Matt. I don't know about you and Martin. I look at everything that's going on, and we should be proud. We should be proud of what we've done so far. We all know the main goal is to get out of this fucking league. We know that, you know. But I agree with you. I think it's a longer term plan. If we don't do it this season, I don't think Kieran McKenna will be going anywhere. And I don't think he should. Honestly, I don't think he should. I know you do.
I'm with you.
I think, look, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I get that. But we want stability, you know, on and off the pitch. We need that. You know, we need stability because we've been crying out for this for so long. And the owners have done fantastic. It's brilliant that we hear that, do you want another player? Do you want another player? Look, we just have to get out of this league and we just have to stick with it. And football's not about winning every week. We all want to win every week. We know we want to win every week. It doesn't work like that. You've got to work hard. And the time that Kieran puts on on the training ground, like he said in that interview, I think there was one morning a meeting with Ashton. Kieran was in at 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, he wasn't staying. He wasn't at home having a cup of tea watching bloody GMB, was he?
No, but that's what I sort of took away as an unsaid thing. We've got really high standards at the football club. Third is not a high standard. Like you want to be third, great.
He's on the tractors.
You want to be the very best.
At Crunch. 6 a.m.
No, I like that about my manager. Should be in at 6:30, 7 o'clock, 7:30 in the morning. Yeah, we want to be up.
I'm up half 3. I think we'll wake up. Kieran, come on.
Absolutely.
The community stuff was really good. I totally agree, and that I love that actually because that is, you know, I'll give them 10 out of 10 for that because that's kind of like drawing a line back to the Robson era where, you know, Town were big in the community and all through the 80s. I think that's very good. And the fact you have to sign up to that and when joining the club, I think that's spot on. Really good.
Yeah. I think you're both right at the time, you know, but I think the main goal has to be obviously promotion, but you have to look like you're close to it. Now, you know, when McKenna took over, were average in most stats. We were obviously not in the position we wanted to be in. We were never looking like we were going to be a promoted side. So you make a change. You have to look like you're going to be at least a team capable of doing it when the opportunity arises. So yeah, it might be a long-term project. It might not be a this year thing, which is why McKenna is still here and he'll be here next year, because we are looking like a football side that could be promoted. If you weren't, it'd be a different story. But who said this journey has to be tough? That's what I want to know. Everyone keeps parroting back to me, it's a journey. But why does the journey have to be fucking tough? Why can't it be plain sailing? Ask Sheffield Wednesday about their journey. They're currently on HMS Pistol League.
But they didn't
Why
last
am I
season.
not?
They didn't last season.
They had a better year last season than we did.
But ultimately they failed.
Got to the playoffs, didn't they?
I'd like to, if that's failure, I mean, it's not the worst.
Oh, hang on. If we get to the playoffs and fail, what are you going to be like in May?
Well, it'll be the first time in 4 years we've seen a playoff.
True.
Let's be honest.
First time we've seen you Wembley.
What's the takeaways?
Yeah, I do. And also Matt Holland, love him, but I just feel like that's such a win hearts and minds before a word is spoken. Do you know what I mean? Like, trot out Matty Holland, people to go, love Matt Holland, and then whatever's said after that will probably be.
Does he ever age, Matt? Do you think he ever ages?
Looking in great shape, isn't he? I mean, look, it was club questions, wasn't it? Signed off by the club. These are the club questions, because anyone else would have said, we're another away game coming up this weekend. We haven't won away since November. What would you put that down to? I mean, that is the real question if it was like independent media. But
he said we played fast football. I asked both of you, since when?
We don't play fast football, do we?
We know how you want to play, Kieran. You play attractive on the floor.
We played quicker second half yesterday. We played quicker. We come out the blocks fast second half.
Yeah.
We make Paul Lambert's asthmatics now look fast on occasions, right?
I do. But if we don't go up this season, you'll have your wish for stability, because we'll be 5 years third tier team. Nothing more stable than that, is there? 5 years in one division.
Yeah,
we'll
right. 3 words. You got it. While people sort themselves out with the link, go.
Lee Anderson has got 2. Hurst getting better. Stupid Peugeot drivers. I'll talk to you, Lee, about that later. Christine Smith, don't stop believing. Ben Prickett, no way through. Who else? Adam C. McDonald's was busy. Other food is available. Rob Pooley, trust the process. Callie Bisler, he's got 3. 6,000 dickhead supporters. Only 800 fans. Chris Beachy, that winning habit. EJ Norris, professional way performance. Tractor Boy down under. Shout out Ben. Keep it going. Dino back on track. Ben, ITFC, more direct recently. I agree with that, Ben. Stupid spread bridge. We're getting there. Steve Parris, not over. Kevin Keats, 3 Ps for me. Thoroughly professional performance. Momentum is coming, Ben Moore. Emerson Fairweather gathering some momentum. John Nallian, Massimo Corey Luongo. Kevin Francis, that's getting better. Kevin Stevens, keep pushing, lads. Rob Duckett, just keep pushing. Matt Stannard didn't throw it away. Space Chimp, great strike. Skip another one from Cali. This is unlikely, isn't it? Sammy Saeed Morsi. Andrew Peck, it's still on. Steve G, we're going up. Faraji, Wolfie, Walton, Morsi, Chris Porter, winning habit. Ross Yates, not a fan, Callie. Fucking hate inflatables. Dan Burns, final ball. GGC 109, day tripper atmosphere. Dave Eaton, Morsi strikes back. Chris Dowsing, the momentum building points. Bobby, don't take chances. JD, let's keep calm. Marcus, it's not over. Stephen Carter, still the hunter, not the hunted. We all know that, don't we? Luke Princent, keep it up. Luke Lee Fancy, one touch Walton. Andrew Leggett, they can't miss. IP Blue, 11. Sam's the man. Nick Costello, hail the Egyptian King. Shout out to everyone who's getting involved in that. I've had nearly 100 today, so I'm doing that every single week. So,
do you want mine?
Yeah.
Meh, expected win. That's mine.
It was an expected win, yeah, absolutely. Even I said we would win on Friday night.
Correct. And then Matt says we. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, don't get too carried away, guys. I mean, we only played Forest Green and Milton Keynes Dons. So hardly Wednesday and Plymouth back to back. Oh, wait, we did that. How'd that go?
Mm-hmm.
Not well. Yeah, that's what I thought. Harps makes a great comment. What did Harp say? Norwich, just come. Correct. Always word for 3 words. Imagine supporting PSG and not winning the Champions League. Imagine being a Spurs fan, and just not winning anything. No certainty in football. I don't know, if you spend £10 million in 2 years, I do tend to agree with him on this topic. I don't know. I mean, there's certainty.
Division, are they, in them clubs?
No, I mean
Premier
PSG
League clubs.
normally win the French league, don't they?
Always.
Celtic
Premier
normally
League
always
club-
win.
Premier League clubs
the
spending
FPL.
just as much money as they are. We're outspending everyone.
We've got 15 minutes and we've got a number of people around. So let's.
Watch for it. Who have we got?
Well, I've got loads, but let's kick things off with. He played so well yesterday. He hasn't quite been at the standards of recently, but he played
here
such
he is.
amazing
He's
football
on.
yesterday. Look who turns up when he plays well.
Here he is.
Kelly, please
Hang on, hang on, where's the pyro?
Did you see the pyro yesterday?
Yeah, there was one up top, wasn't there, when we scored?
Up top, yeah. It was good. No, man, good performance. Can you hear me okay? I'm on the phone.
Yeah.
Certainly can.
Yeah.
Talk to us about
I wanna
Sammy
fuck around.
Morsey. What a performance from our captain, finally.
Yeah, man, what do you mean finally? He's been playing well. We just, as a team, we haven't been playing, too well. But he stepped up. He does what he can do, and that's the thing. Like, obviously, I know Luongo come on after, but I don't know. Even Humphreys sat a bit deeper yesterday as well. A little, I thought he picked up the yellow as well. I thought Humphreys got involved in a bit more. He had a bit more nastiness to Humphreys' game, which is something I've criticised him of. I don't think it was his best game for Humphreys, and I think it was the right decision to bring on Mass. But I thought, and Luongo was great, and we'll talk about him after. But yeah, man, Sammy, we've seen him do that before, drive forward, shoot. He's looking around for options. I do kind of agree with what Gov's saying there as well. He was kind of looking for options, but that, as a team, we don't shoot from the edge of the box. Like, can you think of many times where we've had a shot from the edge of the box? I can't. It's always playing around.
Yeah.
And the second half, the free kick, which really Broadhead should have scored. But he's at, it's a good 25, 30 yards out anyway. He's had a good strike. It was good. Took the game by the scruff of the neck. We know the importance. Back-to-back wins. It's all that psychological stuff as well. We're now, 2 weeks ago it was 10 points. It's now 5 points.
True.
Plymouth saw an interesting stat earlier talking about Whittaker and Cooper now going for Plymouth. Equates to around 30 points or whatever it could be. I think the important thing is we need to just concentrate on what we're doing. Forget about, who we're chasing and the people behind us. Take game by game. I know it's the old cliche shit, but game by game. Remember, there's 5 points between us and Plymouth. There's 39 points to play for, right? So, let's go for a run. There's no reason we can't go on, 20 undefeated as well, like Sheffield have as well. It doesn't necessarily mean that, 20. What have we done? 3 undefeated now, 4 undefeated now, or whatever. When did we lose? So I know it's not great, but we need to start getting those wins, and we will. I think we will. I think we got the Hurst and Ladapo's a good kind of conversation and a good little debate, because I think whilst they're kind of similar, they also have their differences. I think Hurst press is slightly different. Freddie does press as well. He's good at that as well. Hurst has got good link-up play, but you've almost got that issue we talked about before where, if we need to change it because it's not clicking for one player, you didn't really have a kind of striker. I'm a big Jackson fan, but out wide is his role, not as a central striker, right?
Yeah.
But now you've got that kind of Ladapo or Hurst. I'm confident in what we'll do. I'm confident that we can chase down. It's 5 points. Why can't we go on that run now? We've got depth in our. We've got good cover everywhere. Harry Clark's a good signing. He, like Leif Davies, he's better going forward. I thought. I don't want to blame anyone, but if you're going to look towards fault, I think that chance that they have in that first half.
I think it was him and Humphreys. I think Humphreys misses his tackle and he gets in behind.
But then, if you look at the rest of the defense, they've got their line and Clark's way out or whatever. But anyway, I'm not trying to criticize them. We've won, all right. So I'm not trying to criticize that. We got away with that, but it's cutting those things out now and hopefully learning that now. Then when we play the teams like the 3 away games, I think Crunch, you're absolutely right. We need 7 from those 3 away games.
I had my say yesterday. Where were you? I was at Stadium MK, Phil. You were listening on the radio, mate. Keep up with your work.
Don't worry about Phil. He's just a passionate fan. This is, I'm going to address this as well.
Can you sing that song, Kelly? Can you sing that song that you sent to me this morning?
No, because I believe we're going to go top 2.
Oh, Oh,
I still think we go top 2.
maybe that for later, isn't it, end of the season.
If we go top 3, and I can't take credit, that was that Dobbles. He was singing it behind us. And just on that, because I know I got some a bit of critics and stuff and on Twitter for my comments from the fans.
Like
so listen, now I'll address that right now. So I'm not saying you're not a fan. Let's just be very clear on what a fan is. You spend your money traveling, merchandise, whatever, tickets, whatever, you're a fan. What I'm saying is when you're in a stadium, you are either a spectator or a supporter. And you can be there to spectate, that's fine. But when you want that 12th man, that's where your supporters come in. And that's what makes a difference. And I'll refer back again to that Sheffield Wednesday game. I'm not saying for us to be that nasty, but that influences the game. That gets you points.
Stuff in the linesman, Matt. That's what
I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying you need to influence it. And just on the ref as well, I thought by the Chaplin decision and maybe the Hurst penalty, which was a bit soft, I'll be honest, but I thought the ref was all right. And in the interest
no worse than any other ones we've seen. She had a little bit of a dodgy 10-minute spell there. She was card happy.
She was card happy.
Chaplin was a joke, and there was one Caden Jackson, Callie, over on the touchline.
Well, yeah, that was in front of us. Where Jackson got fouled, the man lifted Jackson.
To them.
Yeah, he lifted Jackson off the floor.
Yeah.
And then he gave the free kick, and we're like, what the hell's going on here? But yeah, it was just, and in the interest of equality, I was, like any other referee, I was still calling her a dickhead as well. All right, so, it's all about equality, right? But no, she like I said, she was a decent referee, so that wasn't really an issue. And obviously, maybe we're happier because we won. Had we not won, maybe with the referees an issue because of the penalty on Hurst or whatever from there. But
I agree, Callie, with you about the atmosphere, and I said to you at half time, like yesterday was like 7,000 Town fans there, and it was at times it was dead, even after we'd scored.
I was trying so there was a few of us in that area just trying so hard.
I think it's really hard, Callie, when there was no one there, literally there. What was there? 3,000 of them?
The seats.
There was no more than 3,000. But it's Milton Keynes done, in it. So anytime we play them, every ticket they have counts as 2 seats. So that's where the 6,000 tickets comes in, I reckon. That's the only math that's mathing, because I don't get that, because they did that last year as well. They didn't announce the attendance. Every other
last year.
I think what they've done is they've just taken season tickets. That's the figure you've got. But there was no more than 3,000 there. I'd be very surprised. There was and then the fucking inflatables. I fucking hate that shit. Yeah, every inflatable that come to me, I got my keys out. I was popping it. Pop, pop, pop. You should have seen. Everyone's throwing inflatables. They're landing by me. I had a whole pile by me. I'm like, I'm not dashing it. They're here. Like, with the games on, we're spending more time and effort hitting a fucking inflatable than watching the game and backing the team. Like, that shit pissed me off. Like, okay, I get it, family day, all that kind of shit, right? But thank fuck there isn't that many local away days to Ipswich.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
I do think if you're going away, Callie, you want to be part of the atmosphere, singing and all that.
What atmosphere, Matt? What atmosphere? What atmosphere?
We said this about.
Like I said, 6,000. Dickheads was harsh, but 6,000 spectators. There were 6,000 spectators and 800 supporters. In my opinion, let's just get that there.
You think we'll catch Plymouth? Then is that what you're saying?
I'm hopeful. It's 5 points. There's 5 points. So we've got a fair run of games, and the 3 we've got coming up away is going to be a good test anyway, just in case we do fall short. So we know, it's a good test to see each other, because these are the people who play in the playoffs, right? These are the ones that if we do end up there. So I think we're fortunate, but 5 points, we can switch it up. Like, not Harness was firing early on in the season, went a bit blank, and then the attacking side, when Chaplin dips in form, there was a little bit of a miss. Now you got people like Broadhead who we can, who just. I didn't think he had the greatest of games yesterday, but he looks a different. He looks a different class. But I'm confident. Leaf, I've been a big critic of his. I think he's got a lot better. He's got a lot better as well. So
perfect. As always, Callie.
Let's back him up, innit?
Absolutely.
And be a fucking supporter, not a spectator.
Yeah, Matt. Yeah, Matt, listen to him. Right, Kelly, appreciate you. Look after
Yeah.
yourself. We jump across to Lee Anderson. Lee,
The
welcome
endo.
in.
Right, Cali with this. Well, I'm not going to talk about the driving yesterday because that was just dreadful, wasn't it?
Oh,
What's
cheers
wrong
for
with
letting me out, Lee.
Peugeot?
Cheers for letting me out. Tell everyone what I've
I
done.
like a good Peugeot, to be fair.
So we're in bloody Peugeot drivers, bloody French vehicles, all this sort of nonsense. So it takes you like half an hour to get out of the car park. My car's nearly in bits because people are cutting me up, people are swearing at me, and there's all sorts going on. So I finally get out, and then at the corner of my eye, I get broadsided like some sort of bloody nuclear submarine. This bloody Peugeot jumps the curb and sits on the grass verge. And I look over and I think, who's that twat? And that's bloody Cruncher trying to get out with his family.
Come on.
So I let him out.
I'm not sitting there for half an hour and I could just bump up the curb.
Yeah, you bumped up the curb. So there I am thinking, well, I'll let the twat out. I mean, what did I do that for? But yeah, so I nearly, yeah. But
I had a dinner date to get to, Lee. I had to go and have what did I have, Matt?
Oh, you went down the Carvery, didn't you?
Yeah, the Carvery. Oh, my Lord.
Nice.
oh, nice. Yeah. A long journey home. That's 7,000 spectators trying to get home from a game was quite difficult trying to get along that A421. But
yeah.
I just want to pick Cali up on the spectators. I mean, so what was quite clear is the diehards got the first half of the tickets. I think, most of the people, regulars, seem to be in that corner. I missed the first sale and I got on the second sale. But when it was right side singing, left side singing, I must say the right side, who were the day outers, sung louder than the left siders.
What?
So Cali, I mean,
What's on the left side? No way.
Absolutely.
No way were they louder.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They've been saving it all the game because you couldn't hear them.
And just the final point on that, and I know he sort of backtracked a little bit. What you got to remember is that was the opportunity for families to take their kids for the first time. There would have been lots of youngsters there for their first away game, probably, that don't get the opportunity to go. So let's not knock it too much. Yeah, we have our diehards that go up to Fleetwood, and I sit here in full respect for people that travel home and away every week. Let's be honest. But let's open it up when you've got the opportunity to take more fans. And it's difficult to create the atmosphere when your diehard is split around the ground and you've only got 5,000 sitting at the other end. I couldn't hear all game. I mean, I couldn't even hear their drum. So that was, so I think Crunch is right. I think they did. I think unless someone fell down the steps, I'm not sure.
They had a corner, Lee. The thing that struck me, they had a corner near half time, MK. And now, normally you get a corner before half time, the crowd lifts. It was literally no noise at all. It was silent.
Even when we scored, there was people on the right hand side. They must have been hospitality sitting down the right hand side on the
That'd be Cali,
round the bend.
I
don't know. There was hospitality there. There's another 50 or 60 jumping up and down when we scored. My lad went, "Who are they over there?" Looked over there. So we probably formed part of the home crowd as well there. But just on the game. Now I've said here before, and I've tweeted a few times that Hurst is the jury's still out for me on Hurst. But I thought yesterday he's starting to show why we wanted him.
Agreed. Yeah.
His link up was a lot of good stuff was going through him. He was a real handful to the defenders, and he is slightly different to a Ladapo. So you can see why you wanted to, because I think Ladapo runs the channels at times a little bit better than Hurst. I think Hurst gets caught with his back to goal too many times when the ball gets played through. But I think he's improved, and I think had we had him at the start of the season, we would probably be seeing a different player now. He'd be more advanced for what we're trying to do. So when we look back on the season, I know Ashton said about no regrets in the transfer window. We've gone and got him, but I think if we do ultimately fail this season, it might be because we didn't have that, and you've talked about it a lot on here. That striker to complement what we already had, and I can start to see that now, and I think maybe Hurst, had he been here at the start, I think we'd have probably done a little bit.
Maybe a little bit narrative before the narrative becomes the narrative.
Well, the narrative, but you can look back and let's look forward and such like. But for the game yesterday, I agree with Crunchy. There was no moment in that game where I thought they're going to score. Normally, you get like a 5 minute pressure where we lose control of the game. We can't, the ball keeps coming back at us. That never really happened. They had them free kicks at the end. Well, we're always good. I mean, I was shitting my pants as much as anybody towards the end, but Walton saved the easy regulation save for the last one. But we're scarred too many times. Those close games are always going to be like that. You're never out of it. There's always one opportunity where the ball might, you might get a missed pass and it goes through to somebody that shouldn't have gone through, and you get a goal. But yeah, I mean, but credit. We talked about the miss. I mean, that was almost right in front of me, and my lad sitting there with his going to me, how didn't he score that? But credit to Wolfenden. Credit to Wolfenden for getting back off the line and getting out there and closing that down. He didn't give that up, did he? But Clark, completely at fault, and where I think he needs to learn, and it's not a criticism, he got caught out of possession a bit with, Callie talked about it, but he tried to go forward anticipating that we would win the ball and we lost it. But he jogged back. You watch him jogging back. Now, had he bust his gut to get back, he'd have probably stopped that guy when it got to him on the post. He'd have been in a way to knock that out. So that's just something to learn there for him. He was watching the ball jogging back. He needs to get his. If you're going to keep clean sheets, you've got to, the old phrase in it. You've got to die for 3 points. I don't think he tracked back enough to do that, and that would be my only slight criticism of that. Agreed. He needs to get back for that. So yeah, but generally we dominated the game, and the Broadhead chance actually live didn't, from the angle I was at, it looked like the goalkeeper might sort of had it covered, but when you see it on the TV footage, Christ, he's got 2/3 of the goal to hit, but it just falls behind his left, just comes a bit quick, just outside his left foot. So he didn't, he's not, he could have took a touch perhaps, but yeah, I mean, if that goes in, then you'd like to think it's game over. But yeah, so moving forward, I think we've pulled them 5 points back. We were sitting there last week, Matt, and Richard was saying to you, Plymouth will fail, and you're saying, what evidence of that is there? Well, since that comment, that's not a dig or anything. It's just football. No, it's not. It's not good. But football can change really quickly. It's like, look at Barnsley. They've gone on this amazing run. What would have 12 games ago, whenever it was, who would have thought they'd have gone on that run? You did well, of course. Well, you did. But ultimately,
I did Barnsley all season, to be fair. It's bound to be right at least once.
Bad runs come out of the blue. Good runs come out of the blue. And maybe it's our time to do that. Concentrate on ourselves. Let's just see where it takes us. Get some momentum and just push on. The next two are winnable, but we've had many winnable games. 4-2 up with 2 minutes to go is winnable, pretty much, isn't it? But that's football. That's life, isn't it? I mean, let's just crack on and see where we are. And just on the interview, Martin, I don't understand your skepticism of the interview. I don't get that, because I look at that and I see owners that are committed to the club. Ashley didn't release the funds. All that money that they're spending on that pitch. And I know we want to know what's the goal this season. But of course the goal is promotion. It always is. And I think we're naive to think that it's not. But it is a bigger plan. And if we don't go up this year, we'll improve and we'll try again next year. So the owners aren't going to still
have high standards, Lee. But there's no reason why the football club should not be a top 2 football club right now. You've had opportunities you're the one that's messed up, not you personally.
But there's 23 other clubs that will say different.
They weren't top for Christmas, or
you can't just spend all the money at League One and say there's no given right to anything, is there? And that's the bit I don't get. Yes, I mean, I was sitting here at Christmas or before Christmas thinking, I've said it on here. Let's go with top 2. Where someone said, would you take the playoffs now? I said no, because I think we can get top 2, and we're fighting for it. Look where we were this time last season. If it's not progress, then I don't know.
It should be progress. I've got £1.5 million striker. If they're
last season was like so far under average. It's unbelievable. These clubs should never be sitting mid-table in third tier.
But what right have we got? I mean, that comment is true, but what right have we got? So if we're a lower league team,
we need to act like we're a big club. We have won a European trophy. Everyone's been acting like a fucking rock.
I think
that was 50 years ago. That was 40 years ago.
Last season, we need to look at what happened with the massive clear out that we had. And when you look back on last season, the player turnover we had, was it ever really going to work when you bring that? Look, I'm not saying it can't work when you bring in 20 players, but the law of average is probably going to say it's going to be the next season that you'll probably see the benefit of that, because it was a massive.
We did say
turnover
that, didn't we?
We've never seen before at the football club, and we'll probably never ever see again.
That said, there was a couple of games. Obviously, your rant came out of it, where you had opportunity to still make a little bit of an imprint and challenge, and they fell short last season. And that obviously has to be taken into account. But you can't sit here and tell me we've got the best team outside the Championship, and then also equally say top 2 at Christmas, 8 weeks later not even be sniffing the top 2. That's not good, is it, Lee? That's bad.
It's been a dip, but you're judging it on the start.
More of a dip, Lee. Been a fucking great drop.
Well, it's not. We've still only lost 4 games. It's been the draws, isn't it? It's been the draws. Let's be honest, and we've never been done. I mean, Plymouth got done, conceded 5. Yeah. I mean, imagine the outpour on here on social media. We conceded 5 goals in a game.
Great comment there from Matt Stannard. Can you see that, Lee? Can you see that comment there from Matt Stannard?
Well, let's ask questions. You spend £2.50 on a kebab, and if it's rank, you've been it. You spend £500 on a kebab, you will have high.
You've got a point. I like Moby's answer, Matt. If you spend £500 on a kebab, you need to stop drinking and get yourself home.
But it's quite. Well, that's a good. Yeah, that's a good point. But that kebab you're eating now, isn't it? You're not going to leave that kebab for next season. That kebab has got to be eaten there and then.
Would your kebab have barbecue sauce on it?
Absolutely.
Goodbye, Lee. I've enjoyed your contribution.
Yeah, but it was a mixed kebab. It was a mixed kebab.
I just don't get how people could be, just the acceptance of the mediocrity when you have spent this money. Like Barton said, he's got $3 million budget. Ipswich got 15 mil. We're the only club in 30-year history that spent $5 million in one season. Go down the bleeding table.
Yeah, but we spent. It's about developing the team, isn't it? Moving forward, there is, and yes, we don't accept. No one's going to accept the fact that we don't go up or get promoted. I mean, it's all about expectation. It's what your expectations are.
What is your expectation?
And it will be a failure. It will be a failure if we don't go up this year. Of course it will be. But it's not the end of the world. The owners aren't going to close the pension fund and leave the team. You've just got to dust yourselves down and keep going. The players that we're bringing in tells me, and it was mentioned in the interview, and that's my other point, it tells me that we're buying for the future. We're not just buying for now. We're buying sustainable. We're investing sustainably to make the club, when it goes up, it will stay up and it will compete at the top end. Blackpool at the bottom. Rotherham at the bottom, or Wigan at the bottom. Peterborough got relegated last season. We don't want that. We can't.
You can't buy the funds that we have.
Yeah, but you can't spend $1.5 million on somebody that's going to get you out of League One, and then you've got to sell them for $500,000 the next season. That's not how it works. You can't tell me that the players that we've brought in have not improved us. I mean, Broadhead, for example. I mean, he's the best player at the club by a mile. By a mile, I think so now.
Right, where's Connor Chaplin gone?
But
where's Connor Chaplin gone?
Well, technically,
he's the best player. Gone.
Sorry, it's Sean Aluko gone.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, on Aluko, have you seen his best bits for Rangers? God, he scored some goals for Rangers in that Sunday League, didn't he? You'll go back and watch that, Martin. You'll be impressed. But the club, just the interview for me with the other that Holland did tells me that we're really in safe hands. That we've got the people behind us to back the club. We've got Kieran McKenna, and I sort of take your point, Matt, about is he a project? But looking through the leagues, who else would be better than him at the moment? Whichever manager would be able to.
That road again.
Well, no,
he wants Carl
Robinson.
Robinson.
It's easy in hindsight. It's easy in hindsight, but it's not just about is Cook a better manager than McKenna or vice versa. They're a different type. We're a football team that's progressing to be much more professional than we were. We sat here 2 seasons ago before the takeover going, who's running? We had Lee O'Neill running the club. Yeah. No disrespect to him. He's running on his own. Look what the club is doing now. Look how it's set up.
Yeah.
It's set up to build success as we go on. But there's no given right to get a League One. There's no way that we can turn up and say we're going to win. Because put your shoe on the other foot. and you're MK Dons, and I'm playing for MK Dons, and all these prima donnas in 2 coaches turn up. Well, the first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to raise my game, and it can be the same for Sheffield Wednesday. Yes, other teams are doing better, but you're going to say to yourself, look at these Charlies. I'm going to get in here and I'm going to put my foot in, and I'm giving you nothing for 90 minutes.
But that's
and
the thing, isn't it?
That's how it goes.
That's what I would say. If I was opposite manager, I would say these are a nice bunch of players. They play lovely stuff, but they don't like it mixed up. They do not like it when you get in there.
They don't like
do
it.
Not like it when
They
they're
don't
1
like
nil
it
up.
up.
Do not think it's done. They're not comfortable.
Yeah.
They don't want to be in that position. That's what I was. If I was a Burton manager on Saturday,
That's my only drawback to yesterday. The last 10 minutes, we started to tuck in and stop doing what we were doing. You could see Morsey saying, "Let's not, let's." You could see it coming. That bit to me is when that was the only time I said I didn't worry at the start, but they didn't do anything with the ball. But it's us doing that. We're creating that. Let's sit back and let them invite them on, and we shouldn't do that. We should be still what got us to where we were to get to 1-0. Playing the way we did. Let's keep doing that. We seem to let teams onto us when we're defending that goal, and you can see people on the pitch. Is it game management? Pardon?
The podcast is great because it contains different opinions. I'm 50% with Lee, Mr. Cruncher 25%, and Matt 25% confused. There you go, something like that. I think it's with you actually for half the time there. People agreeing with
I'm not sure if that's a compliment coming from a Womble.
It must be one of the last Sundays. It is the last Sunday.
But Lee, hang on a minute. But Lee, you've confused me there because you said we've got no divine right to go up, but then you're saying when we do go up.
Yeah, well, we will go up eventually because we're going to be a relentless.
Eventually, the year is 2063. Town are eventually promoted.
It's no divine right, but we're not going to win it. It's not going to happen.
No, I agree that. But you were several points clear of Wednesday on Boxing Day. It's now only beginning to start of March.
Yeah,
that's what irks me. Like we're in a good position.
Yeah,
but it's not sugar.
Okay, so I'm going to train for the London Marathon, right? And I'm going to run that first mile. I'm going to sprint it. So I'm leading the London Marathon.
Well, it depends. If you've hired the finest dietitians, the finest coaches, the finest everything else.
You cannot. So you can't say, "Oh well, you listen to any manager, Well, they've got to they say, "Look, it's only Christmas. Yeah, we're doing well. Okay, you can't. You can easily drop off. The games are competitive. Teams are not turning up and winning.
You shouldn't do. You shouldn't do.
No, you shouldn't. But perhaps you are. And now you're saying, "Oh, we've got an easy run of games now." Well, we've just done some hard ones and we've dropped a few points, but now we're going to make them up. It's all about ups and downs of when you play people.
Well, that's why you see the interview now. That's why you got the interview now and not earlier in the year.
Do you really think that?
I know it. I've been in that scenario myself. What is the best timing to put these 2 people up in front of their fan base? after you've beaten the bottom team.
So the other answer to that, we've had a couple of bad games. Let's hide away and not say nothing. So that's the counter. That's the counter. Go back 5 years under Marcus Evans. Did we hear anything from him?
You just said not to compare eras. You just told me not to worry about you winning the UEFA Cup 4 years ago.
We can sit here all afternoon. In fact, this goal
is 5 weeks. That was 5 years ago. But you know what I'm saying.
I just want to see this club have some swag back. We've been down in the sewer for too long, man. There you go.
Yeah. No, see, there's nobody that disagrees with that. But
if it's another season, so be it. It seems to be the.
Well, we're all getting older, aren't we? I mean, for Christ, for some people, they might never see it.
I'm with you.
I've got an Easter holiday booked. I've had to tell the missus that because they've fucked up the league position, I might have to not come on holiday because it might be a prime.
Where you going?
Well, only a Skegness for the week, but but I've had to tell her I might have to be at home because it's the running. They've messed it up. It might be an interesting. I've had complaints, but the point is,
£2 in charge.
Exactly. The point is, they've messed up my holiday, so I'm not going to be happy with this fucking group of players.
Well, what do you think was going to happen? Do you think it was going to be plain sailing?
I thought by now.
You've all been watching football for enough years to know that things do not plain sail. Did you all think we were just going to turn up and win every game?
Ask Burnley fans, Lee. It's working out for them, all right, isn't it?
What's that right?
One club. There's 92 clubs in professional football, and you're picking out one out of 92. One club out of 92.
No one's got our spending power. That's
you imagine if
interview.
Look at Man City, though.
He
Look at
did
Man
say,
City
didn't
this season, Lee.
They'll end up
Prime
winning the league.
example. Prime
Man
example.
City will win the league, man. Man City will win the league.
Then again, flip that. Arsenal don't win the league. Their fans will be equally as upset because they were in a great position. They've played City. They've not had the result they should have got against City. They were, in fact, they didn't even turn up against City. The Arsenal fans will be exactly where Matt is right now, where it's not quite being good enough. It should have been seen through. We were top two at Boxing Day.
We're not playing in the cream. We're not playing in the cream of football like in the Premier League, are we? We're playing.
No, but we aren't playing. We aren't buying the. We're not buying the cream of players, are we? We're buying players at the level. We're buying players around the level that we're playing at.
Got to get the Fisherman on. I'm running out of time. I've got to go out. So
we could have gone and had a cup of tea there, mine. It was just like a game of tennis.
It was. Lee, I love you.
Great stuff.
Yeah,
just very quickly.
Another one. What is this? This is the Colin trying to stay on the show.
I've got
another one. Another one.
I've got me tickets. I've got me tickets for Colin's book sale. It'll be great when we all turn up there and we can all chew the fat over. And I might even turn up and say hello to you, Matt. I know that's what you're getting on at me just because I blanked you the other week.
Anyone who says hello to me can be my best friend.
Don't forget me. Select people Rich is buying a drink for. So I think you might have qualified for that.
Yeah, he's getting around.
Well, I'm not sure about that.
I'm getting all the bloody guests. What are you two doing up the top there? Not a fucking lot.
We're providing the star power.
Turning up.
Hey, where?
The talent.
People are coming to see Matt. Look, Lee just said he's going to say hello to Matt.
We're going to get a really big chair. We're going to get a really big chair for Matt, so he can sit on it like Ronnie Corbett.
A funny
like
thing
the old scene at Paying for the Chums.
No, just take that big chair out of his kitchen because he looked like he was in the Big Brother house last week.
Lee, appreciate you, man. Look after yourself.
Cheers, guys.
I'm not going to get you all on. Going to finish with the Fisherman. We are doing a show tomorrow evening.
Oh,
so you're back extra time, are you?
I've got permission from Mrs. L.
Her words exactly were, when are you going to start doing your Monday show again? Because you're doing my heading. So
there you go.
Didn't take long, did it? I could see that really because he annoys me on the WhatsApp group, Matt.
I annoy everybody eventually. It's just a matter of when, not if. I've always learned. So if you don't get on,
I'll be here tomorrow.
Well, I haven't booked it yet.
So,
I'm going to put a call into Nunny and see if he can do it because he's always free on a Monday. So we'll see. But she definitely wants me back on the show on a Monday night. So
and what you definitely need to do before Mike comes on is get that bloody advert out for Colin's book launch.
Well, when Colin comes on the show tomorrow night, he can do it himself, can't he? Because he is waiting. But I'm not going to get it on.
Socials. We can put it on the socials. We can
come on, get the Fisherman on. I need a cup of tea. We've got the Carabao Cup final later.
You got Rangers Celtic at 6 minutes time.
You got 6 minutes, Fisherman. You can do a lot in 6 minutes.
Oh, there you do.
6 minutes. He normally only takes about a minute and a half. His missus told me.
That long.
And that's just 60-second foreplay.
Christ.
It works. I got 8 kids. It works. Anyway, look, I there's a few things I've been chewing the fat over with since I watched the interview yesterday with Matt Holland. One is the local media after games don't ask the right questions.
Agreed.
I'm just sick of the local media. They're too softy and hello, Kieran, my best friend, and all that rubbish. They don't ask tough questions, and I think that's why fans do get a little bit frustrated with some of the answers that we get after games where we haven't won or withdrawn.
Is that not any local media though, Mike? When you look at it,
I think maybe it could well be across the board. Maybe I think the media need to start asking tough questions, right? Because that it grates on me. It grates on me too much. Secondly, I think with new owners came massive expectations, and I've been guilty of that. I think we've got massive expectations that we must get promoted this season because of how much we spent, and I've been on that gravy train as well.
Me too.
And I think it. Listening to that interview yesterday, look, some of it I agreed with, some of it I didn't. Was it a bit cheesy? Was the timing a little bit perfect? Yes, but Matt did ask questions that I would like to. I wanted to know the answers to. Our form hasn't been great. Kieran McKenna hasn't got his tactics right sometimes, and I think some of our draws, not losses, but some of our draws have been down to him with player choices and not getting what I would call consistent team. You know, yesterday we didn't change the team, I don't think, did we? And we ended up getting a win again. You know, and I think if Kieran McKenna can learn that, and we don't get promoted this season, and we end up doing Sheffield Wednesday next season with HMS Pistol League, I think we can all look back this season and think, great, okay, it was a learning lesson, and yes, we spent all this money, and yes, I want promotion this season, but you know, we can forgive it. But if we go into next season and we're not promoted, and we're still having this same conversations, Kieran's job's well on the line. You know, that's as simple as. I mean, I got a little bit pissed off the other week after the Bristol Rovers game, thinking, well, there was no plan B. No. And again, Matt Holland called it yesterday. You know, fans want to know where this plan B is. And Kieran stuttered a bit, if I'm honest. I don't think he knew the right answer to that. You know, he came up with the old, we changed players and what. But, you know, he said, we changed formation. But there hasn't been a lot of formation change with Kieran. You know, and I think he knows that. Maybe after that interview yesterday, I was a bit disappointed.
I was a bit disappointed he didn't answer it. Well, I put Cameron Burgess up front against Cheltenham. What more do you want?
Well, he did say we changed player profiles and roles.
Yeah, he did say that. Yeah, maybe he was alluding to that.
But plan A with different players is what Cook did. It failed. Lambert did the same. It failed. You know, and to get out of this league, we needed what we had yesterday, and that was that bit of Humphreys for me. He did he had an average game, but he was a little bit nicky getting in there, you know, a bit sort of tough, shall we say. I thought he had a bit of a tougher game. Morsey yesterday, I mean, would have Morsey done that? Oh, look, Morsey, I haven't been impressed with recently. Yesterday, 7 out of 10, scored a really good goal, really impressive goal. Lovely hit. And that's probably going to do his confidence a world of good. Am I worried about my Mankini? No. But at the same time, he's got to do this more consistently because he hasn't. He hasn't been, for me, if he hadn't been captain, he'd have been dropped.
Oh, you'd have looked great in the summer with that May time turning up at the statue with your ball sack hanging out.
No, for fuck's sake. I have no shame. I have no body shame. I really, you know what I mean? I know I'm a god, you know, so... But as for this season,
I was eating their Sunday dinner, Mike.
All the stuffing.
Plan B is changing players. They're all taught Plan A.
Yeah, old beaten two veg.
Look, Plan B is more often than not a formation change, or like Man City, the big teams do. You know, they end up playing 4 or 5 up front and playing long ball. You know, it still happens even at Man City. And this is my point. We're not Man City. You know, the other thing is as well, we've got to be careful with this Luongo situation, okay? Because the same was said when Kamara came in. Yeah. And then the same was said when Ball was coming. And they had the good game. We've got to be careful not to hype these midfield players when they come in too much. Because, yes, he came on, did well. But we know he's crook. We know he's got an injury history. You know, we've got to be careful, you know, not to big his players up. We need to have a consistent midfield. You know, not drop Humphreys and suddenly bring in Luongo. Oh, Luongo's the answer and all this lot. No, because the fans said that Kamara and Ball was the answer, including myself. Now, the end of the day is let's just keep a consistent team. Let's get a consistent run of results. And see where we end at the end of the season. I'm a little bit more calmer about how we are as a club going forward. Like Lee rightly said, you know, do we want to go up and come straight back down? Or do we want to build a team that play together for a couple of seasons, go up and stay up and compete? Because I would rather do that than do what Rotherham are doing right now. They're struggling.
They haven't got the money. Mike, they haven't got the money. They haven't got the finances. Wigan, Rotherham, Blackpool. We'll have the finances to go up and buy better players.
Look at Nottingham Forest, right? No disrespect. They've bought a whole bloody new squad.
400 players, isn't it?
Honestly, it feels like it. And they're not compete, and they're struggling.
But there always a struggle. They could spend a billion. They've just been promoted. Yeah. They're always going to struggle. That was always going to be whatever they did. Why can't this football club be one of the top 3 in the division? I don't understand this. Why can't this football club, with its resources, at
Yeah.
the end of the day, be one of the top 3 in its division? There is
Well, we
no
are.
excuse
Yep,
other
right
than
now.
excuses itself.
We are top
We are.
3.
No, but I mean, when it's all said and done, first, second, playoff winner. Why?
You don't want to be third,
with the
do you?
budget you've got, will this
No, we
football
don't
club
wanna be
not
third.
be in that category? Why?
But the reality is, like I've said, Kieran McKenna's got to take some criticism for some of his tactics and some of his substitutions and some of his decision making. Messing around with the team too much cost Ranieri his job at Leicester. You know, when he just won the Premier League. With,
Yeah.
you know,
That's ruthless, though, isn't it?
cannot
Like,
choose-
That was.
we said this many times. Consistency breeds results. Sheffield Wednesday doesn't change their team very often. Plymouth, and I know that they're having a bit of a fall away at the moment. But you've got to look at their goalkeeper. They've lost one of the best goalkeeper in this league. And I'm telling you now, if he stays consistent, he'll be a championship, possibly a lower Premier League keeper at some point.
He's good. Yeah, keeper.
You know,
Well,
and
it's having a fall away. They just lost one game, albeit by 5 goals.
Yeah,
Whether
I
they
know,
beat
but the
Phil
thing
next
is,
week,
that can be damaging to Plymouth. You know,
Yeah,
at the beginning of the season, I had Sheffield Wednesday winning this league. I got called an idiot, fool. What are you talking
I
about?
think we did.
Well, you know, do you know what I mean? And I had Ipswich second. Now,
Yeah,
right now,
we had
we're
that.
third.
Mm.
And if Barnsley win and everybody win their games in hands or whatever, I'm not worried about them anymore. I'm worried about what we're doing. We've gone back-to-back wins since October. That's brilliant. But we need to now back this up with more wins against Burton, against Accrington.
Yeah, that's
And
what
we need to get, like Richard rightly says, we need 7 points from them 3 games.
But we got to do the job, Mike, on the next 2 games before we look too far ahead at what's happening down the road. Beat Burton, beat Accrington, and then you can look at Bolton on the Saturday.
Well, then that'll be 12 points from 4 games and unbeaten and winning 4 games in a row. That's going to put pressure on the teams above us and around us, you know. And if we do end up in the playoffs and we've got a good form going into the playoffs, then it puts us in good stead for winning the playoffs. But my worry is that up until recently, up until yesterday, when we hadn't won back-to-back games, is that we were really on a massive decline, and we were on, you know, our record was no better than Paul Cook's. Hence why I felt at the time, you know, look, you know, Kieran's not answering the questions. The media are not asking the tough questions because they're too soft. But they'll quite happily stir a hornet's nest when they feel like it. But you know, when it comes to asking Kieran McKenna, look, the form's not been great of late. You know, why do you think it is? Do you think that maybe a formation change could come in? Do you think that playing 2 up front would help the situation? They're not asking them. They're too nicey. Oh, let's lick his backside.
I certainly think
It's all about where we go from here. We've got back-to-back wins. I'm not getting too hyped up about it. I thought yesterday was a professional performance. I thought it was a dogged performance. Was it anything special? No, but there was times in that second half where really we should have buried them. But then there was times in that first 10 minutes where we should have been 1-0 down. You know, the shoulda, woulda. The end result is what happens the end of that whistle. When that ref blows that final whistle, and we've got 3 points. Right now, we've got another 3 points. That's 6 points from 2 games. Let's go on to Burton. Let's do exactly the same thing. Reset. Go on to Burton. Get another 3 points. That's 9 points. Go on to Accrington.
One game at a time, then, Mike. Right?
Sorry.
One game at a time.
Absolutely, one game at a time.
Perfect.
Because, and what will happen is if we do not get the results against Burton, against Accrington, then we're back to square one again, aren't we? We're back to asking, well, is Kieran McKenna really the manager?
Yeah.
Well, is he learning from?
I'm not asking that, and I don't think Richard's
is he learning from Charlton?
You two are, clearly.
You know, I was annoyed when he turned around and said, "Oh, we're looking at the Charlton game. That was a point game." No, it wasn't. It was 3 points, very much lost.
Yeah.
So there was good points, I felt, from the PR interview, because that's all I saw it as. But I also feel that there was some stupid remarks where our season has been. You know, absolutely. I play Humphreys. I'd continue with Humphreys.
Then again, Fisherman wanted to drop Chaplin, so
yeah. But I'll tell you what. Actually, yesterday, I liked Chaplin behind Hughes. He was more central yesterday, and he was unlucky because there was a lovely flick on by Hurst, not Hughes, Hurst, and there was a lovely flick on, and Chaplin was unlucky not to, get on the end of it.
Big man, little man. Right, we've got to close the show. It's 1 hour and 30 minutes. I mean, I love you, Mike, but
I agree with a lot with what you were saying there, Mike. And it's certainly at that interview, it certainly shows to me that Ashner's treated McKenna miles differently to what he's treated Cook. Probably because Cook was a grizzled veteran, much older, and McKenna's someone they feel like they could put a project behind.
And he wasn't their man.
Well, we equally weren't ever looking like a team that could get promoted either.
But McKenna's points per game, as Mike rightly says, was on par with Cook's, and Cook's got the elbow.
He had us looking like a team that could get promoted. You can't compare the two reigns. Full stop.
You've got him gone by November.
But you can't.
Because you're looking like you couldn't beat Accrington. Like
we're always being told that stats is what Kieran McKenna goes for. Yeah,
metrics.
Yeah. And his stats
KPIs
were pretty much on the same par as Paul Cook's when he got sacked up until.
But you can't ignore the first bit. Like Paul Cook had no first bit.
Yeah, but you could argue. Look at Klopp right now. He's having a torrid time at Liverpool.
But you're not sacking him because of what he did before.
Yeah, but Liverpool fans are calling for it.
Well, that's Liverpool fans. I'm not Liverpool
fan.
fan.
But what I'm saying is that we've look.
See, Lee Anderson perfectly said in one sentence. Cook was 11th, KM is 3rd. We could not compare the two.
If you stack their stats up against each other, Cook at the back end of that season and the start of last season, and McKenna from December until now, McKenna's miles ahead of him.
Sorry?
Of course he is.
He's miles ahead of him.
If you go from the Charlton game to
you're not going from the Charlton game, Mike. You're going over the reign of McKenna and the reign of Cook.
You can choose to start with it. That's the thing. You can't pick and choose to start.
Everybody harps on about the Charlton was our demise. Right, so I'm
in that case, Paul Lambert against Hull. If you go from that point on, Paul Lambert was the best man we've ever had.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, but so stats can be manipulated, can't they?
True.
Yeah, but Paul Cook's stats, Kieran McKenna was on par until the Forest Green game with Paul Cook.
You're looking at the last 15 games, I think, Mike. The last 15 games of Lambert, the last 15 games of Cook, and then the 15 games of Charlton. I think that's where you're going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but if you're looking at Cook's reign at Town compared to McKenna, there's no comparison.
There isn't. Right, time, gentlemen, time. Because there's a futile conversation.
I was calling for Kieran McKenna's head, and maybe that was a little bit too sort of naive on my part after listening to the interview yesterday. All I'm saying is
they got you then, didn't they?
Well, no, they didn't. No. I've just got sensible head on. And I just feel that.
You got Matt Holland Google eyes. That's what you got on. You guess what you've got on.
Well,
don't
let's be fair. By far, one of the best captains and players we've had this club for years.
Without a shadow of a doubt, yeah.
I'm allowed to say that. But no. But
Mike,
he asked the question.
Who did that man above me compare him to? Matt Holland. He said Sam Morsey, didn't he? What? Remember that?
In terms of leadership, I think they could do the same. Yeah.
No, miles apart.
Well, I thought Morsey would be lifting a trophy this season, Mike, but I've got that wrong.
I just feel it's nonsense to be sat here comparing Paul Cook with Kieran McKenna, or even saying Kieran McKenna's going to replace.
No, not really, because if you had your way, you should have Lambert in charge.
Too fucking right, I would. Yeah, greatest man we've ever had.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Paul Cook signed these
guys. You are Lambert's love child. We know that.
Wow.
Paul Cook signed all these players.
Away, laddie.
He never got a chance of them.
Right. Mike, we love you. Appreciate you. Look after yourself.
Cheers,
all the best. An hour and 33 minutes in the tank. I know. Imagine what happened when we lose a Plaster final. Fuck me, about a 4-hour show.
They played relegation fodder and all.
I know. Next week, Accrington, live tomorrow. Try and do a short show tomorrow.
Burton.
Sorry, Burton. I'm missing out Burton. I've overlooked Burton. Must never do that.
3 points in the bag. Let's go straight to Accrington. Yeah.
That should be the tougher game, though, but we'll see. We shall see. We are done. We are done. Anything else before we go, gentlemen? Anything we've missed?
No. Good chat.
Anybody in the chat who hasn't bought Colin's book or tickets for the launch, sort your lives out.
Get on.
Absolutely. Colin will be with us tomorrow, hopefully. He'll be able to talk about his book, The Diary of an Obsession. Tickets available. I have to be honest and say, no, I haven't.
Unbelievable.
I know it is unbelievable. It is fucking ridiculous of me. I do agree.
Nor is Colin's son, Ian. I spoke to Ian yesterday at the game. Still not bought it. I said
Really?
you are a disgrace. You are a disgrace. I said.
It's a disgrace. What show was that from? Was that Soccer AM? Back with old Tim Lovejoy. It's a disgrace.
Yeah,
It's a
maybe.
disgrace. Sure it
Maybe.
was.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It's a
what show it
disgrace.
was.
Perfect. Right, we're done. Media mogul, go enjoy a cup of tea. You're gonna go
will.
watch cricket, I think, right?
Oh, it was football. Rangers Celtic. Come on,
Oh.
Jers. Alex Griffin at Hampden Park today.
Glasgow Griffin.
He's there.
Griffin, back.
Love it. Right, we're done with Dusty. See you tomorrow.
You make me smile.